You can do it there. iHeartRadio app. If you're listening to us from out of state, tell me where. Who's helping on the video today? Chorley Buttknuckle. Thank you so much. Short for Chorlison or something. I don't know. Chorley Buttknuckle. Thank you so much. If you are one of our bureau chiefs from out of state, tell me where you listen to the show. Andrea listens in Corydon, Indiana. Brittany's in Portland, Oregon. Mike is in Covington, Virginia. CJ is a bureau chief in Midland, Michigan. Ken is down in Charlotte. And we have a lot of people in the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Did you see that air show disaster in Dallas?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wild. This is, I don't care what anybody says, this is why people go to these. Nobody goes to an air show because they're hoping everything goes well, right? You can sit in your backyard and look up and see planes go over unmolested.
Yeah, we want to see them do like the spinnies and stuff.
Is that what it is? The spinnies?
Yeah.
They were doing
Merrick's boyfriend, why does he like to go to the...
Yeah, you and your boyfriend and the little one, you guys go to that Cleveland Air Show every Labor Day weekend, right?
They've done that. That's their tradition. They've done that every year.
That place is lit, though. Like, that, the little jets that they have out there are cool.
They are cool. It's entertaining. It's not my cup of tea.
They're just loud. I just don't understand how something could be that high up and still be loud as hell back on the ground. Because I'll be in my house.
You'd understand how something can be loud as hell.
Are you familiar with the Doppler effect?
You're familiar with your own voice.
I'm not that high up.
Huh?
You are high pitch.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'll be in my house and the whole, like, place will rattle because of those damn jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I live by the airport
Dude,
now.
if a Buick goes down your street, your house rattles.
Fair.
Hey, he's getting a Big Lots in his neighborhood. That's very exciting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And a Burlington.
Yeah!
Burlington, we got a Big Lots.
It's a factory. They make the coats right there.
Moving on up. That's going to be like people going to go there and spend their little ducats. I'm excited.
Let me show you this for people who haven't seen it. If you're watching the live stream, this crash in Dallas, this was at a World War II, Wings Over Dallas World War II air show, and a Boeing B-17 and a smaller plane collided with each other.
I think it's pronounced Boeing.
A Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress collided with each other. And right there, crashed immediately. I think all the people involved were killed. Oh, look at that. Hold on, let me back it up. Pretty wild, right?
It's insane.
Yeah. And I think that's what people are going for, though. They like to see the static displays or whatever, but it would be wild to see a couple of planes just crash right overhead.
I feel like there was a few years in a row where there were air show crashes. Like, it was like back-to-back years.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I think it was the first couple of years I was on the show. Like, I feel like 2013, 2014, there was back-to-back air show crashes.
You know what else they found, by the way? They found a section of the Space Shuttle Challenger on the floor of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They found a large section of the Challenger space shuttle buried in the sand at the bottom of the Atlantic. 30 years after the crash. That was the big one. The first space shuttle explosion was the Challenger. And NASA was taking part in some, I don't know what they were doing. They knew something was down there and they went through and they were looking. They found pieces of the Challenger along the way, but this is the biggest piece they found so far. They found a couple of fragments from the left wing in 1996. Antifa!
Leftist.
But, of course, all 7 people on board were killed in the Challenger explosion. Krista McAuliffe got the lion's share of the spotlight because she was the first school teacher to go to space. She was a civilian. And so there's video of the dive that's pretty wild. These guys on the ocean floor. Something with the History Channel, I think, maybe. Because, what's going on here is, for whatever reason, people have started talking about the Bermuda Triangle again. Maybe people are just really bored. I don't know. But, like, when we were kids, now, we didn't go anywhere. The Cox family didn't go anywhere. We didn't drive anywhere. We didn't fly anywhere. So it wasn't at the top of my concern list, but I had friends who were in normal families who did occasionally travel by plane or boat or some other conveyance. And the Bermuda Triangle, everybody was always worried about that. You know, like John Mulaney does a bit where, like, when you were a kid, you thought quicksand was one of the deadliest things on the planet. You thought that someday quicksand was going to pull you under because it was in every cartoon and TV show or whatever. It was the Bermuda Triangle when I was a kid.
I mean,
Because
that was
they would make
definitely-
movies about it, and
Yeah.
planes were disappearing, and, you know.
It was up there. It didn't maintain its audience, though. Bigfoot was a big thing. That found its audience, and like they turned it into a business.
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle was that's how things disappeared. It was so prevalent, and they just kind of went away, I feel like.
Well, and also, how did Bermuda get the naming rights? Because you'd hear some people refer to the Devil's Triangle, but I mean, because it went from, the triangle was like Bermuda to the Florida Keys. That's, yeah, Kokomo.
Yeah.
But it was like Bermuda to the Florida Keys to Puerto Rico was the triangle.
Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico.
But you didn't really hear people talking about it for a long time. They were like, oh, why is this place? There were books written and movies, and why is an inordinate number of aircraft lost in this area? And, you know, in the years since, obviously, there's no mystery. There was just, you know, these things kind of happened. And there were all these explanations, like pirates, or maybe there's a magnetic field or something that, you know. But obviously, as the world advanced and there was more data available, they're like, it's not even in the top 10 most dangerous places on the planet. Because pirates are still very real. We all saw the Tom Hanks movie.
Right? Didn't Cody say they came over from Canada?
There are Canadian pirates, yes,
No, you guys said that.
that will come right
said
across
that.
the lake and
Steal your Bratnell
run
home.
into your home in Bracknell.
Oh my
He didn't
God.
call them pirates, though. He called them burglars, I thought.
Burglars.
Sea burglars.
Sea burglars.
If you're trying to steal like a multi-million-dollar home, why would you not have
Steal a home?
I mean, not a home, but like trying to break into
Are they
a-
going to have a series of inflatable barges and they're going to put the home on?
They could.
Take that for not allowing trick-or-treating, Bracknell.
if you break.
We're going to
into
steal your home.
Ocean's 14.
Yep.
most
This
of
time we're
those.
stealing a whole house.
Most of those
Yeah.
houses have docks, anyways. So
Huh?
most of those houses
You
out there.
don't know what most of those houses
they
have.
do. They
This
all have
guy's, we should call him Mr. Most. He always goes to most. Most of those places.
I mean,
You
if
don't
they
know
have,
what
if they're,
most of those houses have.
if they're on the water, they have a dock usually. But
I bet you there's a house that's
But it
on the
also
water
depends.
that has no dock whatsoever. They're like, we aren't sailors. We like the view,
well, a lot
the
of times
nonstop view of the lake.
Well, that's
there's a
silly.
cliff,
Boring
too,
view of the lake.
and
Right.
it takes a lot to build the
steps.
docks down to the lake. Yeah.
So if most of the houses have docks, that in your mind, Cody, ups the likelihood that those pirates will come, as though there are no rich people on the Canadian
They're inviting
side
'em.
to just take your boat over and steal from them.
Well, that's why I said it doesn't matter if they're Canadian or American. If you have a boat and you're on Lake Erie, there could be people that come up to your house in the middle of the night and rob you blind and get back in their little boat, and then you'll never see them again.
How much can they steal in their little boat? Which sounds noisy, by the way. As you describe it, it sounds like one noisy dinghy.
Sure, but they don't know if it's like a neighbor's boat. They don't know if it's just a passerby.
Oh, I see what you mean. There are so many people there that have boats
Yes.
that they're under cover of
Incognito.
incognito. All right. Well, Ocean's 14, whatever that's going to be. Ocean's 14, Lake 1. Because it's... Okay, anyway, so the Bermuda Triangle doesn't get talked about much anymore, but maybe I think that this discovery of parts of the Challenger wreckage might be part of some thing over there about the Bermuda Triangle. Something to consider.
What was going back to the Beach Boys song? What was the thing with Poundcake and
Jamaica.
But like, what was the Poundcake thing that was related to that song?
I don't know.
Well, he thought the song is about Kokomo, Indiana, or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kokomo, Indiana.
Yeah.
They didn't
I
know
mentioned we had a bureau chief in Kokomo, Indiana, and he goes, "Oh, like the Beach Boys song."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
where they're going.
Yes, it is. That is the name.
Well, there was a Kokomo Park in Oberlin.
That's what it was. He thought the song is about Kokomo Park in Oberlin, Ohio.
No, I didn't think it was like that.
But he thought it was by the Muppets.
Yeah, I thought it was by the Muppets. Yeah. That's how I knew it.
Right.
I thought it was a Muppets.
It's a
original.
generational thing. Yeah. Oh boy.
Kokomo.
And they had a little Hermit and
Yeah.
Kermit, not Hermit.
Hermit the Frog is who he was going with. That's right.
Get out of my
Hermit the Frog.
Get off my lily pad.
Uh-huh. That was a big hit for the Beach Boys. And I would imagine, by extension, a big hit for the Muppets. Because why not? Who doesn't love the Muppets? So, I don't even think that the Beach Boys wrote that song, but it was a huge song for them. I think somebody from the Mamas and the Papas wrote that song. And I'm sure it was good for the Chamber of Commerce for Kokomo, Indiana.
Do you think they started at Mamas and Papas, or do you think they started as like moms and dads or mothers and fathers? And they're like, yeah, it just doesn't sound folksy enough.
What is it?
Well, there was a dude in there that was like banging his daughter too, so that's no good. But
I think it was like the lead singer.
Yikes.
yeah, right. John Phillips was he and Mackenzie, right?
Mackenzie Phillips. I only know who
They were
she
having a
is.
consensual, incestuous affair.
Sexual relationship with her father.
Yeah.
I only know this because she was on a Disney Channel TV show, and it was like Stepsister from Planet Weird or something like that. I think she played the mom, and
Well, because Mackenzie Phillips was on One Day at a Time back in the day. I think that's what she was most famous for. But then everybody was like, John Phillips is a real scumbag because he was having an affair with his daughter. And I think she, a lot of drugs in that band. And after Mama Cass died, everybody went kooky.
yeah, so
But he
far
was
way
like,
to go.
right.
To go kooky.
Well, because I think he started like shooting his daughter up or something. And, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And
Gross.
Yeah, it was
Real
really, it
gross,
was
yeah.
very, very gross. After he died. He'd been dead for about 10 years. And Mackenzie comes out and goes, yeah, we had a 10-year relationship, a 10-year incestuous relationship. She was a teenager. There's a lot of drugs involved. And she said, it all ended when I became pregnant and nobody knew who the dad was. So it was like, oh, okay,
So wait,
well.
was it-
And obviously she has a bunch of half-sisters. One of her sisters was in Wilson Phillips. And she was like, a lot of her half-sisters were like, this is all made up. And so there was a lot of controversy in that family. But I think the long and the short of it was pretty common knowledge that in one way or another, John Phillips was kind of a scumbag. But anyway, boy, I've really gone off the rails here. I've really
I've
gone off
learned
the
a
rails.
lot.
We started
So
with the
much.
Bermuda Triangle and we ended up with incest.
Is that a go-to destination for people? Like, is that on anyone's like bucket list? Like, I have to go to Bermuda before I die. Is that like a really cool place to go? By the way.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it is. It's I don't think it's in the Caribbean. It's like in the North Atlantic. But
I
I
would
mean,
say it's
there's-
like in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's nowhere around it. I don't understand how. Like, you can like, I guess you can land a plane anywhere. They're like, they land them in the middle of nowhere for like.
yeah,
military
it
bases.
is a major tourist
but-
area.
But
Yes,
it's like I don't even know how it got out there. It's just an island all by itself in the middle of nowhere.
that's what people like. They like the isolation. That's why
That's-
people go to Fiji and all kinds of
But at least Fiji, there's a bunch of other islands around it. Bermuda, there's nothing. It's just Bermuda and nothing else.
Well, maybe that's what people like. I'm sure there's Bermudan celebrities. I'm sure there's people who are from there. Isn't that foxy chick from Game of Thrones from there? She's British, but I think she's from Bermuda. The was the one that had to. Oh God, she's cute. She's
It's okay.
yeah. I didn't watch that show.
Sometimes they have.
She had to do the walk with the chick from Ted Lasso, and they shaved her
Lena
head.
Headey?
Lena Headey is from
Headey?
Bermuda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. I finished a crown.
Shame.
British.
Oh, you didn't. You went too fast.
I went too fast, but I'm like,
He binged. Why are you upset? Oh, because you're done with it?
Yeah, now I'm done with it. Now I haven't.
Well, you watched Surviving R. Kelly 15 times. Why don't you rewatch The Crown?
Yeah, but that still has. I still get emotion when I watch Surviving R. Kelly. Like, The Crown is just like, all right.
What
I
emotion
still
do you
get
get?
emotion.
It's still-
It's called sexual arousal.
It's not
Is
sexual
the emotion
arousal.
that he gets.
I still get the disgust. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got away with that for so long. People are crazy. And I just have my snack and I eat. But like The Crown, I'm just like, all right, I watched it. Now what else?
This is with Charles and Diana.
Yep. And I'm not gonna give it away, but like,
We know what happened.
It's historical. Give it away.
but no,
She's
it's-
kind of dead.
She is kind of dead, but like they don't cover.
Did they
it
play
in this
fast
season.
and loose with the facts? Because what I read was that they were not going to dramatize her death.
They are going to, but they're
Huh.
they're
Not this
gonna wait.
season.
Yeah, they're gonna wait.
That's a teaser.
I guess so. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to do it like a spoiler alert, but I was like, oh my gosh, let me prepare myself. I took a whole day. I was like, I need to take a walk. I need to detox. I'm like, I was really into like.
Spoiler alert. Princess Diana gets killed.
I know, but like they cover her whole life, like her life at that time and what she was going through, and she was
Yeah.
being bugged and all the harassment that she was getting. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh wow, this is really gonna hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't know her like that. Like she died in '97. I was like 5. So
I would have thought you would have been caught up on the whole saga by now. Doesn't they got Dominic West playing Prince Charles? Is that the deal? I like that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's good. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who the characters are. I just know
The guy
I-
playing Prince Charles.
Okay.
I think the actor is Dominic West.
Yeah, Diana's spot on though.
Yeah, Elizabeth Debicki. She's foxy. I like her a lot. And they just give her that mom haircut and you go, boom, instant
Boom,
Princess
Diana.
Diana.
There she
I could never
is.
get over the mom haircut for Princess Diana because she just looked like my mom. And so I was just like, when people are like, oh, she's so beautiful, I'm like, with the worst haircut, I can't, I never saw the beauty.
I
Because
never-
that haircut
Well, it was very
so
much
bad.
of the time. She kind of
Yes.
had that short, feathered,
Poofy.
yeah, kind of the Dorothy Hamill kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Was not something that even as a kid, even though it was of the time, I'm like, I don't think that looked good.
The
It was
only
bad.
connection I had to Princess Diana was that I was super into Beanie Babies. And when they released her like limited edition purple Beanie Baby that came in like a preservation box,
Mm-hmm.
it was super hard to get. And
Yeah.
that's what all that anybody at school would talk about was if you had the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. So for me, it wasn't even like, oh, a princess has died. It was, how do I get this Beanie Baby?
Princess
Her
Diana.
death has allowed us to have a very significant Beanie Baby.
That's
right,
right.
that's exactly what it was.
She didn't die in vain.
I mean, I was like 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
It was the
you were-
most important thing to me was Beanie Babies.
Right.
I had hundreds of them.
And there was also adults that felt the same way as you, but they're like, man, boy, it's sad that she's dead. But I need that
I
Beanie
need that
Baby.
collectible Beanie Baby.
Yep. Her life also limited edition. The
All
people
of
who
them
got,
are. All of them are,
yeah,
Alan.
there were people who were convinced that the Beanie Babies were going to be their retirement,
Oh, yeah.
that they were just going to keep climbing. Apparently, people who had zero history with collecting anything.
Best picture on the internet is the divorce where they're
Yeah.
splitting up their Beanie Babies. I love that picture so much. In the courtroom. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
it's the
When we
best.
were moving out of my mom's house, it was kind of a rushed thing, and so I didn't have a lot of time, and I was like devastated that I couldn't take my Beanie Babies with me because I had boxes and boxes and boxes of Beanie Babies, and we were like, my dad's like, listen, this is not a necessity. We need clothes and toothbrushes. like my Beanie Babies.
Only guy who got rich was the guy who invented them.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe when you get your storage unit after mom passes away.
All my Beanie Babies will be in there.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Harold and Frances Mountain were going through a contentious divorce in the late 90s. There's a famous photo of the two of them in court with a giant pile of Beanie Babies. They were ordered by the court in Las Vegas to divide up the collection. It was valued at $5,000, but they couldn't do it themselves. So they were ordered to spread the entire collection on the court floor and divide them up one by one under the supervision of the judge. These are two grown people, I mean, air quotes, two grown people who could not figure out how to split up their ultimately worthless Beanie Baby collection. There are probably a couple that are worth something.
Like that Princess Diana one.
Yeah, I mean, things
There's-
are only
there was a
worth what somebody's going to
few-
pay for them.
There was a few commemorative ones that came out like over the course of the craze. I remember because they each had birthdays on them. So each Beanie Baby was born on a different day.
Yeah.
And my birthday which is November 25th, coming up here. My Beanie Baby.
Care of it. Nobody has to get or anything. I took care of it for everybody.
Just saying. The Beanie Baby that shared my birthday was a spider. And I hated spiders. And I was like, this is so stupid. I can't even have a cute Beanie Baby because mine's a tarantula. Very upset.
There are a handful that are worth something to this day because of the rarity. There's a striped fish Beanie Baby.
Is it like black and yellow or black and orange?
Yes, like
Yeah,
the
I
Wiz
remember that
Khalifa
one.
song.
Yeah.
It's worth about $129,000.
Woo!
Yeah, a lot of these are worth six figures because they're very, very rare.
I want to see if I had any.
A trio of rare pandas could get you around $98,000. I've got to take a break here. I will have another $1,000 for you on the way at 4:30. I'll also have, because a couple people have asked, want to go see the band Skillet. Terrible name for a band, but they're pretty good live. They're coming through with Theory of a Dead Man. They're going to do a show in March at the Agora. So if you've been hitting me up for Skillet tickets, I will have these right after the break. If you want to text 35192, and we'll be back.
This is the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device you have. Just tell it to play the Alan Cox Show on